Yes. Welcome, come well to another episode entitled "Am I as I am, as you are?" What is the nano sentient resident? Who is this nano sentient resident? Let's dive right into it. These nano sentient residents are actual conscious entities which reside in the core of your biological sacred geometrical intelligence. Actual conscious entities that reside in the core of your sacred geometrical intelligence. In the unlimited depths of luminescent synthesis as living synergies. They're conscient, sentient, living synergies. Synergies are just synthesized energies or energies with an intelligence that synthesizes to the core, to the nucleus of your being. This is what the nano sentient resident is. And they're conscious entities, actual conscious entities that reside inside of you, inside of me. But who are they? What are they? They reside within the unlimited depths of luminescent synthesis, which is synthesizing of light and light codes, as living synergies that, in both flesh and spirit, voice out their existence through the lens of one's abstract perception, including, but not limited to, one's intuition, one's common sense, one's divine feeling, and one's knowing. This is how they voice out their existence through you. Your perception, your intuition, your common sense, and through your knowing, or what you feel you know to be right and exact. And nobody can sway you from that truth that you feel, that you know, which is right and exact. They draw you towards them through the principles of attention and interest. The two spiritual antennas. I always tell people, attention and interest. This is how they speak to you, by speaking through you as the nano sentient resident that it is within you. They speak to us through feeling and perception. These are their specific languages and communication techniques. When they were in form, which is a body, they communicate verbally through the medium of mouth to ear, what we call our lecturers, classes, teachers. When they are in form, they communicate to us through the connection of mouth and ear. Speaking, listening. They speak, we listen. When they leave the form, the human body, they communicate silently through mind and feeling. It's the principle of sound navigating you into the silence. So these nano sentient residents, they come in the physical form before they go back into the formless origin of their being, which is the formless origin of all our being, of all of us beings. But when they are in the flesh, when they are in the body, the abode, they communicate to you from their mouth to your ear, because they only have a certain amount of time to give you the message, to pass the light, before they return back into that synergistic core of your sacred geometrical intelligence in your genetics. This is why people come here to teach. You have gurus, you have yogis, you have master teachers, elders, these ancestral energies that come back in the physical form to give a message to point you back towards your synergistical origin. This is why we speak, me and other teachers, we speak from the very core and nucleus of your being. I am a nano sentient resident. While I am in a time capsule at this moment called the human body, I get to communicate to you from the outside, but you hear me and feel me on the inside, because that is where I truly reside. But while I'm in this time capsule at the moment called life, I get to also give you the message from a different side of the mirror. Before I leave this time capsule to return back to where I came from. Next doorway. This is why many high masters of deep Abyssinian inner work always point you and your attention there, because they are showing you that's where they're at and where they projected from to become the form in front of you. And if you ever want to be reacquainted with them spiritually, you have to knock on that specific window and open that specific door, and they will enter into your experience and transmorph your reality instantly. That's why these teachings can have such a profound effect on someone's perception and their reality instantly, because I truly exist in an instantaneous phenomenal existence and reality. That sacred geometrical constant. I keep forming different sacred geometrical shapes to hit the nucleus and the core of your being. I'm here on the outside, pointing you inside. I'm saying that's my home. That's where I live. That's where I am. That's where I live, but in the flesh is where I am live. This is why we are alive. Alive is not one word, it's two words. A live. A live. A live what? Whatever you want to call me. But here I am live. But there is where I live. So I project myself from where I live to become live. To carry out this living at the moment. These masters, these high masters of deep Abyssinian inner work, if you look and study them and see what they were into, what they had an affinity to, something that drew them towards it, or directed their attention to it, and they had a deep interest in it, unknown interest, unexplainable. They were fascinated by the micro and nano phenomenons of reality. What they were actually doing was studying their home, their address. Their home and their address. So you weren't necessarily studying nano and the micro just to study the nano and the micro. They were looking at their home. They wanted to know what their home was, why they was, what they was. The who, which derived from the what. As a live physical being, they were the who. But where they live was the what of their beingness. This is why they studied insects, whatever it may have been, bacteria, viral agents. We weren't studying these things in a physical classification or physical way. Remember, we are transparent beings. So whatever we give our attention to, we see the transparent intelligence of that physical thing. And that is what we knew that we truly were composed of. Not the actual physical live thing. So we were studying our home. We were studying our dress. We were that we were studying. This is why one of my quotes I always say, that which interacts with that is that. So if I interact with principle, I'm interacting with principle because I am principle, and principle is me. If I study the nano, I am the nano because the nano is me. That which interacts with that is that. So for all my students, as well as the clients and consultations, you're interacting with this because this is you. Period. You studying any academia of deep gnosis, keep this in mind, you studying any academia of deep gnosis, in actuality, is you acknowledging them. Them being the nano sentient residents that hold residence within your resonance. You resonating. They are your pulse. They are our pulse. They are our beat, our vibration. That is where they live. That is where I live. That is where any other teachers and elders live. We live there. I don't live here. I live here, and I live here, and I live here. When you veer off and you get too far caught up in the personality, you lose sight of principality. If you lose sight of principality, you never seen me and we have never met. Even though I may have met you. But if you get lost in my personality, then you never met me. It's very important as well in relationships. I always say, this is why I always say that which interacts with that is that. In other words, they were literally, the nanosentient residents or the nanosentient conscious beings, were literally studying what they knew they were and where they knew they were really at. Remember, you studying any academia of any kind of deep gnosis and a way of looking at it, that is you acknowledging them. This is why they point you towards that. So when they leave the body, you may still be live while they are in the live, and they point you right back towards them to once again project them back out as another life form. This is what we call birth, and so on and so forth. They in the body to point you to where they're at that is in the body. So when they leave the body, you direct your attention and interest back towards that core, that synergistic synthesizing intelligence to once again project them back out into the flesh, into the form, into the time body, to once again give you the message in the flesh as the life form before they leave the live time body once again. These are what you call descending masters or ascending masters. They return. And they don't return, they just pointed you towards them and you didn't even know what they did. So even when they leave the flesh, the form, the body, the time capsule, your attention is still on them and your attention is life. This is what we knew and what we still know. All I have to do is point your attention towards this nano gnosis, this quantum understanding of things. Once I leave this time capsule, your attention is already where I live. So your attention gives back life to that. And once again, I project back as this. The Ouroboros. This is the cycle. This is where that saying, the ancestors are within me, comes from. Because literally, they are inside of your body. Right now, in this very moment, during this video, as conscious sentient reminders, conscious sentient alarms that wake up those who may forget or may have forgotten, those who sunk into the null state or went into the temporary deep sleep state of existence. It's a silent, hidden alarm clock where they live, where I live. And will always wake up the sleepers at some point, to some degree. This can never be destroyed. If you were to give them an address, which I kind of played with, this is their address. They live at one drive on a one-way street right on the corner of gnosis between knowledge and action. That's their address. Write that address down. One drive on a one-way street on the corner of gnosis between knowledge and action. That is where they live. They reside within the subconscious and unconscious dwelling spaces of mind, utilizing the conscious intelligence to express divine purpose. They are your inner universe. Your inner universe. Universe just means the united voice. United voice is the united versatility, the many you. They are the hidden arrows, the unknown whispers within our being of guidance, navigation, and direction into the forward. A specific forward which can only return to reap its remind. In order for this immediate and instantaneous change and transformation in your perception, in your life, in your reality to occur right now within you, all they need, all I need, all we need is one moment of your time. Am I as I am? Most importantly though, as you are. I'll see you guys in class today at 1 p.m. Those who are also interested in the classes and consultations, reach out by email, which will be in the bottom of this video. And I will see you guys very soon. 1-0.